It's called the Chrysler Town and Country. That's your secured bunker here in Melbourne, Florida. Things have improved somewhat in the last couple of hours. Overnight, it was a fierce storm blowing just offshore. Hurricane Matthew making its presence known with hurricane force winds, 76, 77 miles per hour, and extreme rain. We'll have to see what kind of storm surge has happened out on the Barrier Islands once the causeway has been reopened.
Yeah, so tell us more about this turn for the better last night. The eye, I guess, jetted away from the coast?
Right. Well, it just kind of hugged the coast. That's what it's still doing as it moves northward. Instead of taking a left turn and making landfall here in Melbourne or Cape Canaveral or anywhere else, it's simply moving up the shoreline. Now, sure, that sounds like a good thing, except that it moves northward, more and more people are going to be affected by the rain, the winds, the power outages. Right now, 350,000 people around Florida are without electricity, McGraw.
Yeah, but I guess Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Palm Beach, some of those towns were spared more of the heavier damage?
They were, and that's because the storm came in essentially from the southeast instead of straight up from south, as so many of these storms do, or even from the southwest, as is even more common. This one, it took sort of an unusual route, coming almost straight north and continuing that path, rolling up toward Georgia and toward the Carolinas. It could still make a left turn into the shoreline and make a landfall, but so far it hasn't done that.
Yeah, as you said, you're in Melbourne. Jacksonville, I guess, is north of you, and then you've got Savannah and Charleston. As you look at these models, Jim Ryan, it looks like it sort of outlines the coast, but then in some ways it almost looks like it turns and sort of doubles back towards the Florida.
Yeah, that's what some of those models are showing, and that may be a scenario that unfolds over the next several days through the weekend, in fact, that the storm could continue on north past Georgia, maybe in South Carolina, North Carolina, and then take this hard right turn. It'd be 270 degrees if it turned north and then turns back toward the east and then south and then west again, head straight into the shoreline. We'll have to see if that comes through, but and just hope certainly that the winds and the strength of this storm have died down by then.
Jim, while you were getting to Melbourne, the rest of Melbourne was getting out. What's the scene like in the town of Melbourne these days?
It's a ghost town. It really is. The streets were deserted all night long, and that's a good thing because everything was dark. The power was out. Even the traffic signals had gone dark at one point. So, it's essentially, I think everybody has gone away. There are people checked into some of the local hotels. People who live out on the Barrier Island didn't want to stay out there, understandably. So they've checked into the few hotels that are open. They've brought their pets with them. They're sort of waiting this thing out until later today or even tomorrow when the all clear is given.
Oftentimes when officials give the warnings, many people don't listen. It seems like this time there was a coordinated effort, and it seems like most of the public heeded the warnings and got out.
Yes, exactly. And, people might maybe Monday morning quarterbacking and say, well, I didn't need to leave after all. I could have stayed right here. It wasn't as bad as everyone said. But there's just no way to predict that a hurricane, Category 4 at one point, could take that left turn and smash right into your community. There's no way to say that it couldn't do that. I think the governor is comfortable with the call he made.
Jim Ryan, the hurricane has been downgraded to a Hurricane 3, but that doesn't mean where you are, Jacksonville and South Carolina, is still out of the woods yet, right? That's the big story.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to continue on up toward the north, toward the Florida-Georgia border, and then perhaps into South Carolina, North Carolina. My buddy Alex Stone will pick up the story from up there.
Jim Ryan, be safe, and thanks for checking in.
Thank you.
624 here, Big 550 KTRS. Politics rears its